Do you have any tips maybe for people who may be going through a hard time and can relate to your songs?
Man, it depends what song, I guess. Start with Mad. First of all, they're not worth your time. They're not worth your effort. Most of the time, obviously, I don't know the situation, but if it's the kind of situation I'm thinking where people are just kind of taking advantage of your kindness, sometimes it's best to cut things off while you still have your sanity.
Where do you usually get inspiration from for your music? Because it feels very personal when I listen to it.
I appreciate that. It's funny because I didn't really used to be a believer in writing songs about myself. I used to be a strong believer in just writing music about things that I overhear or stories that my friends tell me about, things that I see, and expanding on it to create a narrative in a world. But ever since Mad, which was the first single for this EP,
It's my favorite.
I started being more honest. And at first, I thought that being honest and writing about something specific narrows your view. And it gives you less material to work with because it's so specific, right? I've realized it actually opens up the writing a lot more. And it lets you be unapologetically yourself. And the crazy thing is ever since I started being more honest, I think the fans just somehow knew. They're like, oh, like you mean it. So that's been nice.
Your music and your writing process evolved over the years. I'm sure it's very different compared to before.
I think I had a really big ego about my writing. And I was always very adamant, especially in the beginning of each project, all the way up to like Pac-Man, even towards maybe like a year and a half after I arrived in LA, I was like, oh, I have to write all my music, I have to write all my melodies, I have to have all my ideas and they have to be mine because I know my music. And slowly but surely, I've realized, and I don't know, just became less immature and learned that, man, everyone lives just as much as experiences as I do, and they have amazing ideas. And before, I remember when I was in studios, if it wasn't my idea, I would get defensive at points. But the more that I've let that go, the more that I've realized that a collaboration and a really good chemistry in a room makes for even better music. So I think letting go of like, this has to be everything that you thought in your lines, and being able to learn to collaborate with people has really helped me open my music a lot.
What are some of the things that your fans can look forward to from your show?
New songs. My newest releases, of course, but the lead song of my upcoming EP, When the Rain Stopped Following Me, the song is called When the Rain Stops. And that song is very, very special to me because 2022 was a very weird and kind of different year for me. A lot of leaving, departure, new arrivals, and I think it's a very, very honest take at where my head's at with everything that happened and went down. So I've never really talked about it like that, and I'm hoping that this is enough to give everyone closure.
Do you ever think about like changing genres a little bit, or do you think you found your...
So the thing about me is ever since I left the band, I was kind of tiptoeing around not trying to step on any toes. So what I mean by that is I felt like Day6 had a very specific sound, and I didn't want to anger people by trying to look like I was like simulating exactly the kind of music that the band was doing before. Even though I was part of the writing process, I just felt bad. So I tiptoed around it for about 2.5 years, and I just realized that my heart just isn't in it. And you know, it's crazy. It's that era of Mad and Right Where You Left Me where I said, you know what, maybe it's just time to be honest with what I really love. And I wrote Right Where You Left Me in the sound that I love, disregarding any idea of stepping on any toes and just doing something for me. And fans just know. I don't know how, but they just do when it's sincere and when it's honest. So I appreciate them for that. What do you have so far?
I have a lot. So it goes all the way up to here. And I have like, you know, still blank spaces. So I've got like geeky stuff. So I've got Yoda, Witcher, and this is Witcher, and this is Stray Kids. And then
Are you a Stray
Gojo.
Kids fan?
Yeah.
What's your bias?
Han. I like the writers. And then I have Palcifer here. And this is from Never Ending Story. You probably weren't born yet.